Hello and welcome to the Elliott Confidential Podcast. I'm Christopher Elliott and I'm here with my boys, Iden and Aaron Elliott.
How's it going?
It's going well.
That's great.
Where are we today?
We're in Aarhus.
You said it correctly.
You better pronounce it exactly the way they pronounce it here.
Yes.
Otherwise, you might say another word.
We're in Denmark and we've been in Denmark for about 1 week.
Yes. And we have been going around the whole country looking at places that have a lot of sustainability, where they're getting rid of the smoke. So you could say that there's no smoke in Aarhus.
Ha ha, very funny. Which brings us to our question of the week. We've been here and we've been trying to eat normal meals, but when we go to the grocery store or the restaurant,
just get hummus and bread.
We realize,
and we spend $75 on it.
This place is expensive.
Very expensive.
So, our question of the week is, what is the most expensive destination for food that you have ever been to?
Specifically food, because here it's the food prices that are making everyone complain. Even the locals are complaining. I was talking with my Danish friend. I call him my Dutch friend just to make fun because he doesn't like it when I call him Dutch. And he says, we don't like the food prices either here. We can barely afford them. I mean, when we came here, we wanted to get I wanted to get a hot dog. You guys can't get a hot dog.
I was about to ask for some examples, so yes.
I was going to get a hot dog.
Yeah.
And I saw it was 115 kroner, which we went to Norway once and they have their own currency there. And we were like, so it'll be similar to Norway. Because Norway, it's not too expensive. So like 150 kroner, what is that, like $8? 15!
No,
$15.
Aaron, you've also been doing some grocery shopping with me. What are some of the prices like? Can you just give us an example of expensive groceries?
So if you want 400 grams of grapes, that'll cost you about $5. If you're looking for bread, if you want to buy bread from a grocery, it's not from a grocery store, from a bakery, it'll cost you $10. If you want to buy a loaf of bread from a grocery store, it'll cost about $5 to $6.
However, I will say that the bread that they have here, which is like a dark bread, seeded bread, is very good. It's like, and it's not the kind that goes bad after a day. You can keep it in a bag for. Anyway, I digress.
Yeah.
Today we're talking about Denmark. Let's talk about Denmark. First of all, we are getting around not by train, which would have been the thing that we would normally do, is we would just take a train from one place to the next. But we're actually in an EV.
Yes.
Not just any EV.
It's promotional EV.
Yeah, here's a picture of us in our clever EV.
Yeah, it's a clever EV. They gave it to us. I think it was like from. Is it from like the main?
Well, we should explain
office?
what Clever is.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Clever is one of the largest EV charging station networks in Denmark, and so if anywhere you go, if you want to charge up your EV, you're probably going to be using a Clever station. Now, if you're a Danish citizen, I think that anyone can buy this, but basically what they do is they'll charge you a fixed monthly rate so you can charge your EV anywhere and you can charge it unlimited. So it doesn't matter how much energy you actually use, it'll be the same amount. It's like about $100 a month. So I think it was 700 kroner.
And this is this image here is of you. I took a picture of you just as we were picking up we have a VW and it's an electric van. With the Clever logo on it.
Yeah, they're looking to take the Danish by storm with their subscription, and they're also looking for free advertising.
And they definitely got that with us.
Yes, because they gave us a rental with their logo plastered all over it.
Aaron's got this confused look on his face. He's going, all this room for us?
Yeah, I know.
You could sleep in the back of that thing.
You could camp in it.
Don't take that thing to LA. They banned camping.
Okay. Anyway, that's how we're getting around.
Yeah.
We started our trip in Copenhagen, or Copenhagen, depending on how you want to pronounce it. What a beautiful city. We got here, and one of the first things we did was get on the metro and go downtown. And wow, this is, I think, the treasury here that we're looking at. We didn't actually go inside, we just walked around and took pictures of it. They have these beautiful gardens outside. It was one of those days where it rained and then it got sunny, so everything looks like it's in a really beautiful light. But they had a church there, and this church is pretty spectacular.
Yeah.
This is the main church downtown. we'll put the name of it in the post that we're putting up. But it's September, so not a lot of people. It's mostly people from Copenhagen. I know I'm going to get that one confused. And here we are. This is downtown right here. It looks like you're out in the countryside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, there are really very few large buildings, but the ones that are large generally tend to be historic, unless it's of course an apartment building in more of a developed CBD sort of district. But when you're walking downtown, really it's old buildings, and then you suddenly come across like churches and other really interesting looking, they must be from the 1800s.
Yeah.
Buildings from about that time period.
Yeah. And speaking of CBD, we went to a building that was built with hemp inside.
We're going to be ahead of ourselves.
We'll get to that soon. That was a very interesting construction, fully sustainable, recycled materials. You'll be interested in hearing about that later on.
If you could smoke the carpeting, which you can't.
No, you can't. Sadly.
Danes love bicycles, and here's one of the main transit centers where they just park their bikes. And it's a low crime area, so people are not that concerned about having their bike stolen. However, I will warn you that the bikers can be fairly aggressive. I was almost run off the road by one, but I'm still here now.
He was about
to tell the story.
You up.
It was confusing. We stayed at a place called the Crown Plaza, and this is really close to the airport. Mm-hmm. It is the most sustainable, or one of the most sustainable hotels in the entire city, and I can't wait I'm writing a story about that. I can't wait to share more about that.
It's called Copenhagen Towers.
Yes.
And it's a very interesting building. It was one of the first sustainable buildings in Copenhagen, which is, of course, very interesting. And also, it's very close to the airport. It's only about a 5-minute transit
by train.
By the train, which made it one of the easiest transfers that we've ever done from an airport to our accommodations.
Yeah, and
I think the other one that was very simple was arriving in Sydney and then taking the metro directly to an Airbnb in North Sydney, which was super easy because it was just tap to pay.
Yeah.
But in this case, they just 5 minutes.
This is one of the first constructions like this. This was done in 2010, right?
Yeah, it opened actually in 2009.
2009.
So,
wow.
And then 2010, it got an award for being the most sustainable hotel in Denmark.
Most sustainable, and the location is very convenient too, because you can just skip away from the mall.
And metro station close by the road. But one of the things I wanted to say about the hotel that didn't really make it into the story was the coffee. So everything is sustainable right down to the coffee, and they have a coffee that they source from Sumatra called
orangutan coffee.
Orangutan, yes. And so one of my editors actually contacted me about the coffee situation in Denmark. He said that there's no good coffee. It is. They like. We've had the coffee here.
Oh yeah, it's sour.
They love to leave the beans in a little bit longer than they do elsewhere, so it's a very burnt taste.
I keep getting the double shots of espresso, and every single time it's some of the sourest coffee I've ever had, and I think it's a bit of an acquired taste because it's not bad, but I mean you really feel it in the back of your throat.
So today we interviewed the CEO of a hotel chain called Scandinavia Hotels. He said the secret was to add milk. So if you are into milk, you can do that, and it takes the edge right off the coffee. Anyway, the orangutan coffee though was really, really good. I think that they don't leave the beans in for that long.
Also, for the people that are traveling all across Europe, you may know that in some countries they call it a doppio, like Italy, Germany, France.
That's two shots.
If you ask for a doppio, you get a double shot of espresso.
Yeah.
Here, they don't know what the hell you're talking about. So you say double shot.
You do have to say
just for you guys to know.
Or double espresso.
The people here speak very good English. Here's another picture of us walking. This is not a picture of us, but a picture of one of the. Everything it looks so perfect in Denmark. And this is not so atypical. Is that we're walking down a street and everything is just perfect.
You know what else is perfect? Everyone's English. There's more English proficiency here than I think in the U.S. In the U.S., every day you'll come across somebody that doesn't speak English, which is that's totally fine. It's a very diverse country, especially like if you're in a place like New York. I mean, some boroughs people speak more Russian than English, but here, every single person you come in contact with will speak perfect English.
Yeah.
I mean, if you told me, our cashier was from California, I'd be like, that's a very Danish-looking Californian, but I believe you nonetheless. Everyone here, it is perfect English. Maybe even better than my own English because they learn all the grammar.
Maybe.
And I don't know the grammar very well. I'm not too good at that.
From Copenhagen, we went to a place called Ribe, which is right on the German border. and they have a national park there called Wadden See. I'm using the German name.
Which is the walking sea. It's a sea you can walk across.
It is. What a cool place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The reason it's so cool is that it's very tidal, but you have these centuries-old dikes, and then you have these these islands that at low tide you can walk out to the island. So here we have our guide Klaus, who is showing us birds.
Yes. So here's the deal: birds love these mud flats that are created in tidal areas, and there are lots of mussels and crabs and other crustaceans, things that it's very calorie dense. So these mud flats are wonderful for migratory birds. And so migratory birds, all sorts of them, come up and in huge numbers. They go from there to Siberia and to Greenland, etc.
So they start in southern Africa, and then they make one stop usually, sometimes two, but usually it's just one stop right here. And then they kind of fuel up. They eat mussels, and then they fly from here to Siberia.
And there's so many of them that fly all at once that they call it the black sun, right?
Because
it covers up the sun.
Right, the starlings will all take off and block the sun out, so they call it the black sun.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's pretty cool.
And people go out there for bird watching all the time. This is us actually bird watching in across from the Wadden Sea, and we could have walked across with them, but it was a bit too wet.
There was too much water.
Yeah. And actually, something interesting that they told us about is you can walk across the sea, and if the tide comes up too much and you've missed your chance, you can go up into some towers and wait for the tide to come down and then continue walking. So there's some wood towers there specifically for people to wait for the tide to go down before they continue walking.
Drown.
Yeah.
Ribe is like a typical Danish town. Everything is perfect. So this is Aaron walking through Ribe. This is not an unusual thing to see. These beautiful homes, and everything is very well kept.
Yeah.
It's clean. There's low crime. Here you are, boys, walking down where the church is. This is an interesting church.
This is a very interesting church. This church is so old that you can look at the list of bishops.
Going back to 900.
Back to 900, and they have on the list when the schism happened and when the Reformation happened.
No, it was just the Reformation.
It was just the Reformation?
The schism was the Eastern
Orthodox. Well, it was still there before the schism. Yeah, it was in 900. The schism was 1000.
Ribe is one of the oldest cities in Denmark, and so it has one of the oldest churches in Denmark. And so it started from 900. It has a really long history, and also it's just a really strange church. If you go into it, we've been to many churches in Scandinavia and in all parts of Europe, and I don't think I've seen anything like the interior of that church. It's very unique.
Yeah, and on the inside, the architecture is incredible. The woodwork is incredible, which is surprising for a Lutheran church. And it's a...
Well, it started off as a Catholic church, and then during the Reformation, it got turned into a Lutheran church.
Okay, that makes sense. The Catholics are good at woodwork.
From Ribe, we went on to Aarhus, which is where we are right now. And the highlight of today was meeting our friends who are designing a completely sustainable office.
This is the hemp building I was talking about.
The hemp building.
Sorry. Anyway, this guy was really cool. He talked about all the different materials and where he pulled them from to create this sustainable wooden skyscraper with bridges across, and a lot of them were contaminated with old material like PCB and lead, and he talked about how they would extract it from the wood and brush down the wood, like shave off the top layer of the wood to make it usable, all in an effort to make sure that as many of the materials in the skyscraper were recycled.
Yeah, this is Anders. I know I'm mispronouncing this. Lendanga, and he is one of the most well-known architects here in town. Yeah. And he specializes in recyclable material, using recyclable materials in his building. And of course, one of the things that he was using on one of the floors was hemp in the carpeting.
Yep.
And that's when he got into a discussion with Iden about whether he could smoke the carpet or not.
But it wasn't just that. Is in that building they had hemp floors. Yes. It was like what is a carpet, a hemp carpet. Yes. But they also were using they were using a lot of different materials. But on the ceiling, in order to protect the wood, because the building was made a large part of it out of wood, in order to protect it from combustion, this seaweed ceiling.
Yes.
It was made
I
out
couldn't
of
smell
seaweed.
the seaweed, though.
I could smell it. But it was interesting. You looked at it and it's like, oh yeah, that definitely is seaweed.
It's like a composite material made out of seaweed.
Something really cool though is each level had its own ceiling insulation from like a different material that they found that they could use, and I thought that was very cool because each of them had their own distinct look.
It's a proof of concept. And I asked Anders if you can go do a tour of his building, and they were actually. Remember when we went downstairs to leave and there were all these Americans out there? They were actually doing a tour.
Yeah.
So you can come and see this building. Each floor is a proof of concept of different materials that are being used. Yeah. Here you can see the facade of the building. Everything here is recycled, and those window shades or those they're really kind of like solar shades. Those are made out of recycled wind turbines.
Yeah, I told them, oh no, you're going to cause a tornado or something, and they're like, oh no, that's just a superstition.
There's a lot of really great architecture here in Aarhus. One of the really cool things that we did yesterday was we met our friend Anne, and she showed us this roof garden at the largest department store here in town. Saling, which we've been calling Sailing. Yeah. But it's Saling, and you can walk out right on this little ledge. Yeah. That's you with Anne. And you're walking out, and you look down, and you see, and here we are. Oh my gosh, these are my legs looking down at the kind of like pedestrian.
Yeah, I don't think I made.
Scary.
I don't think I made this any less stressful for her because while we were up there, I was telling her the story of how I broke my arm. I don't even know how that subject came up. She was like, your arm, and okay, thank you.
I got a reaction shot from her. This is the moment that you told her about your arm.
I said, don't worry, it grows back stronger. The doctor told me that. Luckily, I didn't show her a picture. That would have been, I think, a step too far.
We have so much more that we're going to be doing in the next few days, so I hope you will join us for the next podcast. In the meantime, though, our question of the week, again, is what is the most that you've ever spent on food while you've traveled? It could be a restaurant meal, it could be a grocery store meal, or it could just be, maybe you were out with friends and you shared a meal together and you just ended up buying all the really expensive stuff like the wine, I don't know, whatever. Share your stories with us. We would love to hear them, but we also want to talk about last week. So we got a lot of really good comments last week. We should do those.
Last week's question of the week was, have you ever gone on vacation and done absolutely nothing? Tell us about those experiences, and you told us.
Did you ever?
Did you? Yes.
Did you ever?
Tekorote 42 writes, on vacation, when I get one, I do nothing wherever I go. This is my general inclination. From work to not work, expectations to not expectations.
That's my inclination as well. I don't really like doing things.
You don't like doing things at all?
No, it's just not for me.
Oh.
Nancy writes, my husband and I took the Trans-Siberian Railway from Beijing to St. Petersburg. 6 days on a local train across Siberia was definitely doing nothing but people watching, as we discovered that most of the people on the train were Mongolian smugglers.
Wow.
Blankets, blouses, and handbags. The train stopped frequently for 15 minutes or so in small places where the locals were waiting to buy.
Now,
interesting.
This is the thing, is you want to make sure that you get back on the train before it leaves because you don't want to be stuck there. That would be really, really...
No, that's a good amount of time. You could probably take a quick walk and come back. You just got to be very diligent about getting back on time. Otherwise, you're kind of screwed.
Hopping Tales says, when we went on a trip to Kerala this year, we divided the trip into two parts. First was sightseeing for 2 days, and the second was 5 days of not doing anything. It was bliss.
Yeah, I agree.
Wrote about it later. All right,
pure bliss.
Doing nothing. Maybe you should join them on their next trip.
Joe writes, agree. Went to Florence 2 years ago with no plans. We just booked a hotel. We've been around at before and flew in. Great vacation. Just did what we wanted, walked around, ate great food and no pressure. I recommend it, but it helps if it's a place you've been to before.
Yeah, I do. Now he's going more into detail. I agree. Eating food, sleeping, that's the plan.
Gina says, regarding our podcast, this is the best way to do Paris. Thank you, Gina. I actually think that going with no plan is a good plan because you get to do things spontaneously. Yeah. That's pretty good. Joseph says, I'm not sure what you mean by nothing. What I have found is that being in a new place, especially in a new country, is everything. For instance, When I was in Sofia in October of 23, every step, even the so-called mundane, was interesting, struggling each time I opened the door of my Airbnb apartment. Even when I was lost, which happened often, was an event to consider and to savor. The definition of nothing then is everything. And that's actually very profound.
That's very poetic.
Very poetic.
Yes.
Yeah, like that.
Thank you, Joseph.
Thank you.
Sam writes, in a new international city, our favorite way to do nothing is plan nothing. Walk, get lost, and to find interesting things. Now that is how you do it. That's what we do whenever we go to a new location, to be completely honest. We just rent a place, no plans, explore the city, eat food, sleep, watch YouTube videos.
Okay, no. See, that's not 100% true. I mean, I do have...
That's 100% true for me.
For you, maybe. But first of all, I don't watch YouTube Shorts. But
I said YouTube videos.
A YouTube video. I don't watch YouTube videos.
No, you watch soap operas.
But second of all...
Billions?
No, I don't. No, I don't.
Downton... No, not Downton Abbey. House of Cards?
No. Okay.
That one's
anyway, what we do is I go to a place and I do have an agenda because I have to do these stories, and you guys know because we've been doing all these meetings and that. Yeah. So I have to do some stories.
No, you're right. Yeah, I'm sorry for embarrassing you.
I'm not. It's actually Aaron and I are watching Star Trek now.
Oh, that's even more embarrassing.
Sitting through Star Trek: The Next Generation.
No, they're embarrassing themselves.
Yeah. Aaron.
Well, actually, no. We do all together watch. Arrested Development. That's a good show.
That is a good show.
Oh man, the what's the guy who paints himself blue? What's his name?
Yeah. Now, normally at the end of the podcast, as is our tradition, we would have food. However, we're in Denmark.
We don't want to pay.
No, we're in Denmark.
Sorry, okay, limited budget, guys.
Maybe next time.
He's been budget cutting for the last 4 months.
Don't forget our question of the week, which is, what's the most you've ever spent on a meal when you're traveling? We would love to hear comments. Send them our way, and we will read them next week.
Can't wait to hear from you guys. Okay.
Bye.
See you guys later. Bye-bye.